ask you, because there's a lot of stories how the name came about. Somebody said that you picked it up when you were a boxer. Somebody said Leonard Chester.
No.
How'd the name
Leonard Chester didn't know nothing about no ghetto stuff.
Yeah. Well, the name means funny storyteller, huh?
No.
Well, it doesn't mean that.
No.
See, these are the
no. That's what pisses me off a lot is that people try to make out of what I am or what I've become what they want it to be is what they can identify with, not what the real reason or the real cause or whatever you want to call it. And the only way to find out what it is to come and ask me. And let me give you the definition of what it is.
Exactly why we're here, sir.
You know.
Where did the name come from?
Kids gave me the name in school.
Did it mean anything at all?
Well, at that time, I got the nickname because I would mostly take up for little guys that couldn't defend themselves.
Was this in Mississippi?
No, this was Chicago. I wasn't raised up in Mississippi. I was just born there. You know, I was raised in Chicago. And you either had to learn how to be a fast runner after school or either be fast with your hands. You know, be fast on your feet, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or fast with your hands, you know what I'm saying? Or either a good gift of gab to get yourself out of a trick.
You weren't fast at all.
You had three things that had to be going for you. Be able to talk your way out of getting whooped by a bunch of dudes, or either be fast or be rough. And I was lucky enough to be a little bit rough. I was a stocky little dude and strong, and later when I got old enough to go into the gym and found out about a gym, I started hanging around and learning in the neighborhood there, you know, neighborhood boxing stuff, you know, and we'd all beat on each other, you know, and stuff like this. And it was good. You know, every neighbor, like you got the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. We used to have things guys to come out and say, hey, man, you going down to the gym today? And, you know, yeah, let's go down there and work out, you know. And I had a sparring partner named Roosevelt Jackson. We used to beat the hell out of each other all the time, you know. And it learns you how to deliver punches and take punches, you know. You know, you don't get slapped in the face and then run hide, you know.
And so did the name come out of that?
Yeah. And they started calling me Bo Diddley. Now don't ask me why.
And you were a musician at this time? You were still?
I was playing guitar on the street corners, you know, at 12, 13 years old, you know. And I was playing violin, though, mostly in church, you know.
And you found out
classical music, you know.
Make a lot of money with that.
Yeah, you didn't find no black people with no violins. Yeah. And that kind of worried me a little bit, you know. But I never thought that I'd be Bo Diddley.
After the boxing and you worked in construction, I assume that's
yeah.
You decided that music was going to be it for you?
Well, I had been doing it, and then I made the record Bo Diddley in 1955 and turned the whole music scene around.
Well, that I know. I just want to lead up to that. You were playing at a club. Did you put a band?
7 or 8. No, it was just 3 of us.
Yeah. Who's
trio. No. Roosevelt Jackson. The Otis band was with Muddy Waters and Lil Walter. And Velo was with Lil Walter, you know. And Roosevelt Jackson and Jerome Green, and later we put Clifton James, which is the drummer, as the man that did the original Bo Diddley beat on drums.
Now you went up, you made this record. Did you make it on your own? Or did you?
No, we went to Chess Records. Went to Leonard.
What happened up there?
Well, they liked it, but I had to go back home and rewrite the words because the words was a little bit rough. We called it Uncle John, but it was a 2-meaning song. Yeah. The words had 2 meanings, and they couldn't actually deal with that type of music at that time.
What kind of opportunities were for black musicians in Chicago even then to make a buck?
Wasn't any. No, Muddy Waters had everything sold up, man. If you couldn't play like Muddy Waters, you might as well go put your stuff back in the rack.
Was he one of your idols? Who did you think?
Oh, yeah, Muddy was an idol of mine, but not far as for me to patronize after. I just loved what he was doing, but I couldn't play blues. You know, I do a few little blues tunes that I write myself, but I'm limited, very limited. Just like I couldn't play blues, Muddy couldn't do what I'm doing, you know, and because I got that real, what you call that sanctified rhythm, when I really want to make people sweat, work, you know, I go into that sanctified bag on them, you know, put that religious beat on them, you know.
Where did it come from? The beat, the riff, whatever.
Don't ask me, man. I don't know. I just jumped up with it one day and did it by accident. Like here the other night, I was on stage and my finger went and made a chord that I liked. In other words, I'm still learning.
Yeah, sure. Well, you always experimented.
Yeah, you got to. You got to.
Well, you always did that.
Yeah, you know, and so now I got a new note to play with. You dig? See, and that's the way it was with that song. Yeah, I went and I started beating and banging on the guitar, and I fooled around and hit that. I says, hey, so I put it ching, ching, ching. Then I fooled around and got it syncopated right, where it sounded good, and it would fit these dirty lyrics that I had. You know, see, the lyrics came first.
I see.
Then the music. So since I had to go back and rewrite the song, it fell right in place with Bo Diddley bought it, baby, diamond ring.
And where'd the maracas?
I put that in there. There was a reason for that. We didn't have a drummer during that time, so we had to have something that sounded like drums. So we first started off with a paper bag and just two great big old shopping bags, you know, on a board. And the guy would sit there and go, you know, and slap on these bags. We didn't have no money, man, you know.
Oh, you must have cost $50 to do this session.
No, not for the session. This was, but when we were first putting it all together, when we first got started, man, we used to work the street corners and make money, pass the hat, and we bought all new maracas and strings and things. I didn't have to tie my strings no more, you know. Strings were like 25 cents a piece, and $5 for a set, man. I didn't have to shoot $5. That was hard to get. You know,
we're talking about the early 50s now.
Oh, yes. Yeah. See, everybody seems to think, like you take all the entertainers that are out here today that are running around, you know, they don't know what a musician's hard time is just because maybe they set up in a hotel and they ain't got a gig for 1 week or something like that. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. It's when you have to tie your guitar strings together, break a piece off of another string and tie it to other string in order to make it long enough so that you can practice or either go and try to make $1 somewhere. This is hard. This is called learning how to be a vet, grooming you to be a trooper. You understand? And the entertainers today have walked on the threshold that me, the Platters, Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, you know, Carl Perkins, Little Richard, and Muddy Waters, and Little Walter, you know, the Shirelles, and you know, the Supremes, and all these. They have walked out on this threshold that we built. You understand? Sure. We put it where is that all they have to go out there, and the fruit is already ripe. You understand me? We planted it. And then we were ran off of the field.
I want to get into that too. I want to get back to, you made the record, and now how's it feel to have your record on the radio? Remember?
Sounded funny.
Yeah.
Because I was one of those people that didn't trust anybody. And I'm kind of sorry that I did drop my guard, because when I started trusting people in the record business, I didn't know what was going on, but something was going on.
You mean they did something with your record?
No, the money wasn't right.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah,
how locked off you felt you got.
The money wasn't right. I wasn't that good at figures and all that kind of stuff because I dropped out of school at an early age. But you don't have to be that good at figures to tell that you've been had.
Yeah.
You know, and when you look at it, say, oh wow, the record's selling all over this big United States of America, and how many people we got in this place? So we say maybe 200,000, 100,000 people are buying a record for one side. Then 100,000 is buying it for both sides, or 50,000. You know, they said, well, how much money that might bring me? You know, you start wondering, wow, that's a lot of pennies. You know, so where's mine? And when you don't see any pennies, then you know you've been had.
You didn't make any money on that record?
No, I ain't got no money. I've got no money from Sugar Hill. You know,
all these years,
I ain't got no money, but they gonna pay.
Wow. I was gonna ask you how exploited
no money.
You felt you were, but you really never.
I haven't seen no money.
Before the accounting.
No money.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, before the accounting, what did it
no
do to your life?
Money.
What did it do to your life to have this hit? I mean,
the
good times.
Yeah.
Before you found out that you were going to get screwed here.
Yeah, the good times to have a hit record. It made me a little boy, being black, and I could not believe that I had become a person that had a name that may grow into something as a monument, or it was just a fad. It's here today, gone tomorrow. But we're looking at 30 years.
Yeah. Well, we know it lasted.
Yeah, we're looking at 30 years, and it makes me awfully angry to see people, to hear people take my idea. But this is America, and maybe these are the things that happens in America, and with all of the red tape and stuff. But I thought that a man develop a Cadillac. That Cadillac belongs to him. I can't go out and make cars that look like Cadillacs and expect General Motors not to scream, And if they scream, you bet they're going to get some action. But you're not as important as General Motors. You're not as important as Ford Motor Company. You are just an individual that happens to make people that work at General Motors, the people that own General Motors, you make them happy. You make them laugh, but you're not, that one little thing is missing. What's good for the goose is not always good for the gander.
It doesn't travel.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that what has happened to me and hundreds of others that are in the same vein that I'm in is that the injustice that was done, I don't see how it could have happened to us in this great land we got here, in this great country that we got here. I feel that the government should help us because we can't get nobody else to help us. Because I feel that these people ripped me off, they ripped off the government. Because if I ripped off somebody for a lot of money, I wouldn't pay taxes on it. Why should I pay taxes on it if I stole it?
Those guys are bankrupt now, aren't they?
No, they ain't bankrupt.
Didn't they declare?
No. They keep selling here and hiding under here and hiding over here.
Did you ever make any money when
No, when I say I made no money, that means exactly what I said. No money.
I'm a man.
I got a statement. I got a statement from Sugar Hill Records not too long ago that claimed I owed them. I think it was $156,000. When I left Chess Records, I owed them $125,000.
So somehow
So now something wrong here. Something is wrong.
Who had the publishing of your songs?
Oh, Arc Music. I'm not worried about Arc. Arc is that's. I sold the stuff to Arc. See, I was at one time picking at Arc to try to get to Chess.
Yeah.
But Chess is the one that I really wanted because I've never seen any money from them. I sold my stuff out to Arc Music, and then they, at one time I was up. I thought maybe I hadn't gotten paid up to the date, but I just left that alone. because I feel that Sugar Hill Records is liable for any monies up until they sold to MCA. You know, on me. All over the world, my stuff is selling. All over the world. Now, and somebody should do the right thing. I shouldn't have to go and embarrass who I thought was my friends, was Sylvia and Joe Robinson. I thought they were my friends. I wrote Love is Strange for them. And I thought if they were going to get anybody, it wouldn't be Bo Diddley. You understand what I'm saying? And evidently I was wrong. So now I'm out for what I'm out to get somebody. So I want what's due to me because I've been deprived of a lot of things, because of that. And I am the first dude that started all this crap.
That's what I want to talk about. What was there in the music that you think that, if you had to look back at a perspective, that so influenced all these English kids and so influenced surfers?
Well, let me run it down to you exactly what happened in America, because you might not be aware of it. When I started in 1955, and remind you, you're the first one I ever explained this to on a tape or in person as a writer or whatever. I made the record in 1955. He started to play it, and everybody freaked out. Caucasian kids threw Beethoven in the garbage can. Kids were hollering, "Hey, I like that. I want to play a guitar, Mama." Parents were freaking out because they've had piano players in the family for hundreds of years. Your uncle was a great concert pianist. And you want to play a guitar? Yeah, Mama, I want to play a guitar. I want to sound like that cat that is. We don't want that black music in this house. Or we don't want that junk in this house. So the kid sneaks off, gets him a guitar, learns how to play it. So here they come. Okay, but now in the meantime, I can't get my stuff played. So what happened is, this is what happened in between what I just said. So Leonard and them say to Alan Freed, "Hey, what do you think about if we get some white kids that can play guitars and sound just a little bit black and let them cover the record?" Somebody said, "I got the right kid, but he sings country. Let's try him out." You understand? All right. So here they come. They record the record. The white stations will play it. But it's the same song now.
Did you get covered?
But they call me rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
But they call the Caucasian record, white boys, they call them rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
See, just so long as they could separate it and they could make believe that this wasn't a black record anymore, but it's written by a black dude.
But didn't Alan Freed play your record?
Oh, yes. He got the same thing. A lot of other DJs got bricks thrown at his house.
Yeah.
Because it was a new day. See, because the basic thing, people, white people used to try to figure out, they go and ride through the black neighborhood and say, "Man, them people sure is happy. Wonder why they having all," and juke joints would be just jumping with little bands and stuff. Down, 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 and they wanted in on it.
Did you have any idea that these English kids were...
Oh, the English kids came in 1964.
Yeah, but
62
they had
64.
been listening to you in the late 50s.
Yeah.
Did you have any idea how popular
No,
music
I didn't even know how to get overseas.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a way to get over there.
When's the first time you ever went over there? 60s?
See, yeah, I thought Detroit crossed Lake Michigan was England.
That was the end of the world. You fell off.
I'm serious.
No kidding.
I didn't know Detroit was over there. When I found out Detroit was over there, I went over there with Dizzy Gillespie. Somewhere we went. We played at the same place. We went over on a bus or something other.
Well, after you had your hit records, didn't you travel a lot? Didn't you get out there and work?
Yeah, I worked
you
different.
used to do some Alan Freed shows and the
Yeah.
Feld shows.
Yeah.
And everything. How were they? Were they fun to do? Or?
They were fun to do, but we were underpaid, which I'm not happy about. Which I didn't know the status of what the money was.
Was everybody underpaid? Jackie?
Oh yeah,
Wilson,
everybody.
Chuck,
No
kidding.
Everybody was underpaid. See, and well, look at what Irvin Fell owns. He owns the thing. You don't just buy that by being nice to somebody. You got to step on a few toes to do what he did, and he stepped on a whole lot of heels and feet.
Did you guys ever talk about it? That you felt you were being ripped off?
No.
Why?
You didn't know who to talk to.
Did you know you were being ripped off at the time, or
We
did you
felt
think
it.
this was terrific?
We felt it. But see, you take like if you came from a job making 49 cents an hour, and all of a sudden you're making $375 a night for a 3-piece group. You know what I'm saying? And now you got $75 for a day after you pay everybody, or $150. You know, you feel pretty good. The bad thing about it is you had to travel. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have a family back in Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you were on the road a lot now.
Yeah. You got disadvantages in anything you do, especially in show business. You got to be away from home all the time. You got to take care of home, and you got to take care out there on the road too. You got to be two people, you know, and you got to have a pretty good family, wife, and all that to deal with what you're doing. See, and some of us make it, and some of us don't. You know. God bless those that make it.
There was always a sense of humor and some enthusiasm in your music, so obviously, you know, while you were bitter on one side, you weren't letting it show in the music.
I said you got to be two people.
Yeah.
See, right now, I'm sitting here talking with you, and I got some of the biggest problems in the world that any man ever faced, you know. And, but you can't let that, there's no saying, the show must go on.
But the lady, you had this run of records that was terrific, and the money didn't go up or left the same ad or things like that.
Well, it's a weird thing, but we look like in America we just let people get away with things like the drug people that are getting away with everything today, you know. And everybody sits around a big table and talk about what should be done and what can be done, what shouldn't have been done, and all that, but nobody does anything.
Your career kind of paralleled Chuck Berry. I mean, you both started about within a year or two of each other. Who started to make records anyhow?
Yeah, we were about almost together. It was about 6 months. I think I was released before Chuck Berry. I think about 6 months.
He came on, I think, 56 with me.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Was that a friendship?
No, I didn't know anything about Chuck Berry.
I mean, friends
No.
later on? Or
No,
you made
no.
a record with him?
No.
Or just some stuff?
It was a long time before Chuck and I started talking, like years.
Was it that you weren't friends, or you just didn't know each other? Right?
No, we knew each other.
But
I'd rather not talk about it.
okay, do that. How about you made some records with Muddy Waters and Little Walter and some blues records? Were you friendly with those guys at all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the music scene like with all these blues players? Was it mostly around Chicago?
Yeah. I knew all these people. You know, I was a kid around them. You know, I was the youngest thing it was around there.
Yeah, did you run into Presley at all?
No.
Who started about the same time too? Was doing you?
No.
He was doing your stuff?
No, he copied me. Elvis Presley copied me and Jackie Wilson. He combined the two acts together. And at the time, he had a good thing going, and thank God that he did. I take my hat off to him. The name of the game is make money, and that's what he did. And he was a lucky man. I haven't seen anybody else come behind him and do that same thing except Michael Jackson and Prince. And I still don't think they've stepped in in Elvis's shoes.
Well, they say about the only thing original about Elvis was Elvis. I mean, the music came from
everybody else.
So everybody else.
Everybody else.
But he was an original.
Yeah, but see, it's certain people can get away with it. See, Elvis was a very nice looking young man, and that helped him a lot. It helped him a lot. Had he not been, I don't know what would happen.
Didn't you find, with all the money problems, but didn't you find that it got easy to get your records played on the air? As after '55, it seemed that records were getting integrated anyhow. Pat Stamino, Little Richard, Chuck Berry.
Yeah, well, somebody had to start the market because record companies started popping up. Blues was always going, but it was limited back to maybe to Chicago and St. Louis, and that's as far as the record company went. You have to start somewhere. Leonard and Phil Chess used to sell records out of the trunk of their car. It's to try to get them heard. Everybody, they started, and I know this for a fact, with $2,000. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever heard that before.
No.
Alan Freed and Leonard and Phil Chess were very good friends, and they all used to sit up and talk about the money. I know Mr. Chess, old man Chess, Leonard and Phil's dad, and he told me what he gave him and told him, says, that's all I'm giving you. Go out and do something with it. And they got together and put their little $2,000 together and started this record company.
How did these two Jewish peddlers develop all these great blues artists? I mean, assign all these blues
Well, it ain't no great mystery. It ain't no big thing. It's just that you got to believe in something to do something. You'll never know whether you're going to be a success until you try and fail. If you failed, then you wasn't successful.
Did they know anything about blues music?
Nah. They knew it worked in black neighborhoods. That's just like the cats come through the neighborhood, the Jewish dudes come through the neighborhood, and that wants to make money. Because when no black dude do this, they'd rob him.
Yeah.
They'd take everything he had. But they wouldn't bother this man. And he'd get him a box full of rings and come through there and sell them for $10 a piece and clean up. You understand? Then he go get him some more and go to another neighborhood until he get him a thing. Then he branch out. And that's the way they did it.
And they had their $2,000 and they used to go through the South and sign bands, did they too?
No, I don't know about going through the South signing nobody. Maybe the South side of Chicago, but I don't know about going down south.
But blues players were all around Chicago, and they were the only ones there to sign them, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you know Jimmy Reed?
Yeah.
And some of those people. Did you ever jam together with any of those players?
Yeah. I played with them on gigs. I don't jam.
Yeah.
I don't practice and sit and jam with nobody.
Then the English thing started to happen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, was this a big surprise to you to hear that the Rolling Stones or somebody else was making records you were saying?
No. No, I just some of them could have did a better job, but the Stones did very good.
How about the Yardbirds?
They did all right, But see, you're talking about a lot of money that was made from these records, I know it sounds funny. It is funny.
No, it's not funny. I mean, it's weird.
No, it is. It's funny because you look for people. You trust people, and that's the worst word in the dictionary. Trust.